Hello, I am Nafia, a student of TYBSc Zoology at Ramniranjan Jhunjhunwala College. The topic for this video is Mithridatism, and I will share brief information about its ancient history and current practice. To begin with, what is the meaning of Mithridatism? It is the practice of protecting oneself against a poison by gradually self-administering non-lethal amount of poison. So, Mithridatism is a medical term for this practice of taking sublethal amount of poison in order to build immunity, which dates all the way back to 120 BC and a Pontic king named Mithridates. Who was Mithridates? Mithridates the sixth, or Mithridates the Great, as he came to be known, was the king of Pontus, and he has been hailed as the greatest ruler of the kingdom of Pontus. He was also one of the world's first toxicologists and extensively studied poison. In fact, he even wrote a book on toxicology. As stories go, in 120 BC, Mithridates lost his father to poison. This led to the beginning of a lifelong obsession that was part scientific inquiry and part hyperparanoia. Mithridates even suspected his own mother of being privy to an assassination plot, which, given how royalty was in those days, was probably not that far off base. In his youth, after the assassination of his father, Mithridates is said to have lived in wilderness for 7 years, enduring hardship. While there and after his accession, he cultivated an immunity to poison by regularly ingesting sublethal doses of poison, particularly the arsenic that killed his father. This kind of practice is effective against some but not all toxin, and subsequently became known as Mithridatism. After he became king of Pontus, Mithridates continued to study poison and developed antidotes whose initial efficacies were all tested on Pontic criminals condemned to death. By the time of his death in 63 BC, Mithridates was reported to have developed a complex universal antidote against poisoning, which he took every day with cold spring water and which became known as Mithridate or Mithridatium. This anti-poison formula was said to include small amounts of local toxin, including hemlock and snake venom. It also contained parsley and carrots, blood of the Pontic ducks, which fed on poisonous plants, as well as honey. The original formula is believed to have been entirely lost. Now, coming to India, wouldn't it be cool if you could not only be immune to poison but also be poisoned? According to a research paper, the Vishkanyas of India, literally called the poison damsel or poison maiden, were exactly that, deadly female assassins. Some list them amongst the most dangerous group of assassins, though history is not clear on how exactly that worked. The gist of it is that the Vishkanyas were taken from their families as girls and regularly given sublethal doses of poison as they grew. By the time they become adults, they were not only immune to poison but also had poisonous blood and evidently also poisonous other body fluids. However, since humans do not possess a poison gland, that is practically impossible. If the Vishkanyas did exist, it seems unlikely that they really did have poisonous blood or bodily fluids, but it is possible that Mithridatism made them so immune to poison that they could apply it to their nethers and thus slaughter an unsuspecting suitor. Certain animals were practicing Mithridatism long before Mithridates. Some predators are immune to their prey's natural poison, others take it one step beyond that. Tiger keelback snakes use poison to defend themselves from predators, but they don't make that poison in their own bodies. Instead, they get it from poisonous toads. Not only are young snakes born immune to the poison that the toads produce for self-defense, but they are also able to store it in glands on the back of their necks and then present it to whichever unfortunate animal tries to threaten them. Some snake moms even pass the poison on to their offspring, thus giving them a head start as genuine Vishkanyas. This isn't a single occurrence. Other animals, including some known in Mithridates' time, do the same basic thing. The Pontic ducks, believed to be reddish shell ducks, fed on poisonous plants like hellebore and hemlock and had poisonous flesh. The bees pollinated so many poisonous flowers that their honey contained a deadly neurotoxin. It is even possible that Mithridates' observation of these animals may have been the inspiration for the whole bizarre poison-eating notion. Unless you have never had a drink and you have never taken any medication, you have probably been practicing Mithridatism without even knowing it. Taking alcohol, for example. Over time, you develop a tolerance to alcohol, and your tolerance mostly affects your own liver. This is because over time the body absorbs less of the alcohol that is drunk and eliminates more of it. But it also has less robust response to alcohol, which means one has to drink more to get the same effect. This is exactly the same thing that happens when you eat poison on purpose. Mithridatism even has application in modern medicine. Vaccines and allergen-specific immunotherapy are both examples of medical practices that are based on Mithridatic ideas. That is, a small dose of the toxin, virus, or allergen is given in order to help prevent poisoning, illness, or allergy in the event of exposure to a larger dose of the toxin, virus, or allergen. This form of immunotherapy is even being used to treat people who have severe allergies to things like bee stings or peanuts. Today, Mithridatism is a common trope used in literature and cinema. Thank you.